Welcome back. So I have a special video for you today for my brujitas, my baby witches, my new witches that are new on their spiritual journey and are so intrigued by witchcraft and are just falling in love with the craft. And I want to share with y'all 10 very common mistakes that I see new witches making. Okay? So this most likely will be a long video. So get your popcorn, get comfortable, get your notepad. I wanted to make this video tonight because I was just thinking about my own journey and how I felt on a soul level when I first came into it, and how important my witchcraft journey has been for the growth of my soul. Okay? If you make any of these 10 mistakes, it can not only cause you issues, it can cause other people issues, and for the worst of it, it could ultimately throw you off of your path and cause you to throw away witchcraft altogether. Like, that pipeline of going from new witch back to Christianity is very real. And I'm sure for some people, you know, that's just what their soul wanted, and that was destiny. But for a lot of them, they just were making mistakes and didn't know any better. And so now, there's a lot of cleaning up to do spiritually, and their soul has to come back next lifetime, discover witchcraft all over again, and start from scratch. So literally, this video could save you perhaps decades of your soul's deepest body of work. Okay? Number 1 is not cleansing on a regular basis or at all. This is the most important thing that you will learn as a witch. Cleansing is fundamental. Just like you brush your teeth every day, you shower or bathe every day, you clean your house on a regular basis, you wash your car, etc., you also need to cleanse your energy field. If you are a witch, a lot of you are empaths, just like me. And that can manifest in a lot of different ways, but for most of us, to a certain extent, we are extremely absorbent. Because that's how we collect information. That's how we process information. And we are extremely tuned in to the people and the environment and the spirits around us, right? So it's super easy for us to absorb energy, good or bad. And this can happen away from your altar. It can happen by going to Walmart. Okay? I was in the gas station the other day getting something, and I was behind someone at the cash register, and the first thing that happened is I just got this feeling of my energy field and my spirit contracting, like basically putting walls up, right? And the first thing that I do when I start to feel that way, like I need to protect myself energetically, is I cross my arms like this in the middle of my torso, because that protects my overall energy field, and it also protects specifically my heart chakra, my solar plexus, and my sacral chakra. Okay, so that happened, and then about 10 seconds later, I smell sulfur. If you're not familiar with sulfur, it is the smell of the dead. Specifically, it's the smell of the underworld and earthbound spirits. And it, like, I felt the breeze go across my nose, and I smelled it, and I was like, oh fuck. The person had a spiritual attachment that was trying to kind of look into my energy field to see if it wanted to follow me home. So I did what I had to do at the cash register, got into my car, cleansed myself with my cleansing spray, and that was that. But my point is, these things can happen anywhere. But especially if you are doing spell work, or you are doing readings on yourself or other people, by doing these two things, you are opening up portals. So imagine you already have a lot of negative energy on you, and then you go to do a spell, even if it's a positive spell, even if it's a road opener or a love spell or a money spell, you open up a portal, and a low-level spirit sees that negativity on you and sees it as a way in. Because these entities are crafty, okay? When you already have a lot of gunk in your energy field, and you open up a portal of some kind, it's easier to hide because there's layers. This is why regular cleansing is so important, because it can build up very quickly, okay? And learn what type of cleansing method works best for you. Find something that is, physically practical, inexpensive, and that resonates with your energy. For example, I'm a Cancer. I'm fire dominant in my astrology chart, but that Cancer sun rules everything. I am a child of the water. So spiritual baths and spiritual soaps are very, very helpful to me. But for you, you might be a Gemini and you might have a lot of air energy. So look at things like smudging, cleansing yourself with sage smoke, etc. But there's a lot of different ways to cleanse yourself. Just do it on a regular basis. And make sure to also cleanse your car and your home, because those two places are extensions of you. Okay? And if you need spiritual baths or soap, cleansing soap, you can find those on my website at sirensnectar.com. Okay? Number 2, and I see this a lot on TikTok, and if y'all see me looking down, it's just my iPad. Jumping into helping others way too quickly. And this is totally understandable. Okay? Like, I know what it's like to realize that God made you a witch, and that this is one of the parts of you that is at the core of your being and your identity, and just it's this magical, beautiful thing that lives within you, and this power of yours that lives within you, and you want to help the world. You want to help people, you want to be a healer, you want to help people manifest, because you've seen what this did for you, right? Totally understandable. And I love that. But a lot of y'all get that download that you're meant to do spell work for other people and think that that means you have to start right in that moment. That is not true. Sometimes that is the divine telling you, hey, this is your calling. Start preparing for it. Reframe your identity. Incorporate this into your identity. Let this be a motivating factor on your journey so that you can learn more, grow, have a strong spiritual foundation, and just work towards that mission and that goal. Okay. Me personally, I only did readings on myself for about 6 months. I got super comfortable with tarot, super connected to my spirits, very aware of what my different gifts were. I would even have a journal and track my tarot reading on myself every day in the morning, and then I would come back at night to compare what happened throughout my day to what I read for myself that morning. And literally tracking my results and my gift. And this helped me with my confidence, with my self-trust, right? But it was not until I got super comfortable with that gift that I started offering readings to other people. And even at that point, after 6 months, it was only for friends and family. So that's what I recommend. That's what I recommend to my clients, my students, the ones that I mentor. 6 months for readings, minimum. Okay, if it takes you a year to get comfortable with divination for other people, take a year. As far as spell work goes, I did not do spell work for anyone until about a year in. And with my students, for some of them, if they just kind of do maybe 1 or 2 spells a month, I suggest a little bit longer than that. But in that year time span, I was doing spell work every day for myself in my life. Money spells, love spells, beauty spells, protection work, return to senders, etc. I was obsessed. Okay. And this was about 6 months to a year after my dad passed away, and I wasn't working at all. I didn't have a business, and I wasn't working for anyone else. So I literally dedicated my life to learning about witchcraft. Okay, I went down the rabbit hole. I had a 4-bedroom house to myself, and I turned one of the bedrooms into my witchy room. And I just was in my own little world, and it was great. But yeah, 6 months for divination for others, minimum, and 1 year minimum offering spell work to other people. Okay? And we're only getting into the beginning parts of this mistake. When you do, and I'm going to tell y'all almost verbatim what my godparents told me. When you do a spiritual work for someone else, whether it's a family member or a client, whoever, in every trabajo, every spell that you do, you are putting a piece of yourself into that work. Your essence, your magic, your spiritual power, your life force energy, your ache, etc. You need to be careful about not doing too much spell work for other people, and you need to be mindful of not giving your blessings away. And God bless, may Insomnia eternally bless my godmother for telling me this, because I had no idea, and it explains a lot. What I mean by this is, for example, let's say that your best friend comes to you, she's seeing you do your spell work, she trusts you, and she says, hey, my man and I are having serious problems, we're fighting all the time, can you please do some type of magic to heal our relationship, right? And you agree. You do a honey jar. But in that moment, let's say you're married, right? And you and your husband are fighting like cats and dogs, on the verge of divorce, on a daily basis. And you do that spell for someone else. You basically just gave away that blessing of healing within your relationship. Okay. It's very real. But I know what it's like to just want to help someone. So an alternative that you can do is teach her how to do the spell work. Give her that offering. If it's a friend or a family member, don't charge them. But if you have a spiritual business and someone comes to you for a spell, but you don't want to give that blessing away because you need it in that moment, offer them, a coaching session where you hands-on teach them how to do the spell. And this is actually very helpful because not only are they able to do the spell in that moment, but you're also teaching them a skill that they can use for the rest of their life. It's like that concept of not only giving someone food, but in the same day, also teaching them how to fish. Okay. That's an alternative if you still want to help someone, but you don't want to give your blessings away in that moment, because whatever you're going through, you need that blessing. Okay? Let's see. Another one that a lot of times will come with helping others way too quickly is undercharging in your spiritual business. This one is huge. I see this on TikTok all the time. For example, $25 spells. And I am not talking about a spot in a group ritual, right? Because usually that's just a candle and a little bit of prayer and some herbs. I'm talking about individualized, thorough spells, like a jar. Let's say a protection jar or something. And you're charging that person $25. And I would be lying to y'all if I said that I haven't been guilty of this in my past. But what ended up happening was the person, of course, was getting results, but the amount of money that I had received was not proportionate to the amount of energy that I put into the work. There was an extreme level of disproportion. I put in this much energy and effort and time and materials, and I received this much in return. So it creates this imbalance. Okay? I have increased my prices for a lot of reasons. To compensate for my growth on my path, because I am on year 6 of my business, and I've been through a lot along the way. I've learned a lot, and me personally, I have poured tens of thousands of dollars into my spiritual journey. Whether it be supplies like herbs, candles, tools, books, ceremonies, because I am an initiated high priestess, offerings for my spirits that carry out the different workings, etc. You know. For example, for me, if you want custom spell work for me, the starting price is $710, because most situations need multiple layers of work. Cleansing, banishing, rune opening, blacklisting, uncrossing, money magic, protection, whatever, to get the outcome that my client desires. Okay. And if they want, like, Indoki work, dark work, hexes and curses, and they want me to spiritually attack someone, that pricing starts at $1,111. Because, to be honest with you guys, I'm very capable of dark work, and I'm very good at it, but I've kind of outgrown it. It just doesn't really interest me anymore. Okay? I'm not saying those have to be your prices. But what I am saying is you need to really, really be honest with yourself and make sure that you are charging in a way that is fair to you, that reflects the amount of time, energy, materials, etc. that you're putting into this work. And just make sure it's balanced. And another thing that I want to say is, if you opened up a witchy business because you want to help people, right? If you charge fairly, in a way that allows you to pay your bills, that supports your financial needs, and that allows you to have healthy financial stability and habits, and someone comes to you and they really, really need help, but they don't have the money to pay you your full price, because you are charging your other clients fairly, you have the abundance to help that person that's in need. You see what I'm saying? And it still be balanced, because you're taken care of, you're making enough money so that your needs are taken care of, and you can give charity, right? So charging in a way that is fair to you is very important. You are not a martyr, okay? And this is going to sound kind of bitchy, but I have, godparents, right? They're the only spiritualists that I go to if I need help. 99% of the time, I like to do things for myself, just because I don't want to bother them. But if I need spiritual work or a reading or something, I can go to them, right? I trust them. I know the value of their work. Their price is their price. I have no right, and no one else does either, to tell another practitioner what they are worth. Okay? Because I also do this work, and I know the effort and energy that it takes. Where am I going with this? I forgot, y'all. My point is, the price is the price. Okay? Are there certain circumstances where I think it's fucking ridiculous, unless it's like a 30-day working or something, to charge $5,000 for a single spell? I think that's pushing it. But it also depends on the nature of the working. And if you're doing a working that's going to save someone's life, there you go. Oh, I know where I was going with this. So I have ADHD, if y'all are new here. If someone has a problem with your pricing, they don't have to buy from you. They can go to someone else. Spirituality is booming. Everybody wants to be a professional witch. They can find someone that's cheaper. Okay? You don't have to serve everyone. And if they want work from you, and they would pay the price if they had the money, but can't, that's why I have free content. I literally have hours and hours, a day's worth of content on my YouTube alone that has so much information for free, But I have to eat too. Alright. Number 3, they are way too eager to do dark work. Hexes, curses, bindings, etc. And I see this a lot with new witches, because maybe they did a curse on someone one time and it really, really hit. And they get this high off of it. And they feel like Superman or Superwoman. And they just keep chasing that. Because they want that feeling again of hurting someone. And I am not against dark work in the right circumstances. When it's justified. Okay? But I see a lot of witches that just are so quick to throw a curse at someone. You have to remember, no matter how deep you become on your witching path, you're still a human being. You're still going to deal with duality, the duality of life. You're still going to have conflict with other people. You're still going to have people that don't like you. You're still going to have negativity. It's possible and it's acceptable for you to have an issue with someone and not throw work at them. It's okay for you to let shit go. Even if it is justified. You know? But when you do dark work, you are lowering your vibration to a certain extent. And if you don't know how to come back up, you can get stuck there. Okay? Also, if you are eager to do hexes and curses and you don't know how to cleanse yourself, yeah. Number 4 is they argue and make enemies a lot, especially online. Just ignore them and block them. I do not argue with people online. I don't debate with them. I don't give a fuck. If someone comments on a video or something of mine and they disagree with it or whatever, or they're just being mean, I just brush it off. I block the person and I ignore it. I'm not gonna fucking sit there and debate with anyone. I'm not going to debate with someone else about my spiritual path and knowledge that I embody and I know that works. Not just for myself, but for my students and my clients. Because in reality, the knowledge that I give is very strategic. I'm not going to tell you guys anything that is going to cause you harm. That's why I don't teach hexes and curses online. I don't even have a fucking tutorial on how to do a freezer spell. You know? So it's like there's no fucking reason for you to debate me. Okay? But a lot of witches will sit there and not only go back and forth with other practitioners, but they will make enemies and just, you know, make videos about one another, and it's like, who the fuck cares, okay? A lot of these practitioners that will sit there and try to debate with you online or send you hate are energy vampires. A lot of them are obsessed with black magic. And their ability or perceived ability to throw and execute psychic attack is their only sense of self and power. They have no other identity besides that. Because as far as they're concerned, their entire life, that's the only thing that they think they've ever been good at. And that's how they boost their ego. And I would dare to say that 99% of them are fucking possessed. And they are waiting on you to throw work at them. Because as I told y'all before, when you throw work at someone, you are attaching a cord from yourself to them. Because that energy has to go from you to them. This is where the psychic vampirism comes in. Or, you might be a new witch, and they've got 25 years of experience on you, and you throw with them, and they know some tricks that can fuck you up. Girl, I'm not saying you should be afraid of them, but don't go around picking fights that you can't win. It's like that old saying of bringing a knife to a gunfight. No. Another thing with this whole online black magic bullshit is I see a lot of threats. And this can get you in a lot of trouble. I'm not just talking about the spiritual realm. A lot of y'all don't know this, and you go around threatening people online. Even if you say, I'm going to unalive you by using a spirit. I'm going to send a spirit to unalive you. If you threaten someone with that, that can be deemed a terroristic threat. Just because you add the little razzle-dazzle of spirit, the police do not care. Because you could just be saying that. You could still be threatening their life. It doesn't negate the violent intentions that you're saying. You're still threatening them. And that can get you a terroristic threat charge. Okay. Number 5. Showing altars or shrines online. This, to me, is one of the worst things that you can do. Because when you make an altar for a spirit, whether it's a Bovada, so it's for your ancestors and your spirit guides, or it's an altar to Hecate, or Santa Muerte, or Kali Ma, that altar becomes a home for that spirit. And energetically, it's the equivalent of posting someone else's address online, doxing them. It's an invasion of privacy. And that altar or that shrine is a fucking portal. And by you posting pictures of it online, it's like giving someone a key to your house. And I am not saying this to fearmonger, okay? I have this gift of, I'm very proud of my altars. I am. I mean, when I make an altar for one of my spirits, it is beautiful, with everything that makes them happy, everything that represents them, their favorite colors, nice fabric, glitter, flowers, perfume, jewelry, rhinestones, etc. Right? But I know better. Okay, as proud of those as I am, I don't show it online. It's not a good idea. It's spiritually dangerous and irresponsible, and also it's disrespectful as fuck to them. Okay? And what a lot of baby witches don't realize is a lot of older practitioners that are malicious and mean and evil will see that picture and try to send a spirit through that portal of yours into your life. This is why it's very important to keep your altar clean and cleanse it on a regular basis. Change the water if it has water. And I also offer handmade amulets on my site at sirensnectar.com that you can purchase to specifically protect your altar. Okay? Check that out. They are custom made by me at the time of ordering. They are very powerful. They are ritualized for 21 days. All I ask is when you go to checkout, in the notes section, please put what type of spirit or altar that you want it to be made for. And that kind of gives me an idea on how to prepare it, with what energies and secrets and herbs and all that. But it's very important to not only keep your altars cleansed, but also protected. Number 6 is similar. Showing your wards or your protection work to anyone, but especially on the internet. Again, you're like giving someone a key to your house. It's just not a good idea. I don't share my many methods of protection, okay? I might every now and then show like a St. Michael candle or something that I've prepared, but there's a lot of different things that I do to protect myself that I literally don't show anyone. I have them hidden. Yeah. Okay. It's like having a security system in place and then giving your enemy the passcode. It's just not a good idea. Number 7 is manifesting without doing your healing work. And I love to manifest. I've manifested amazing things in my lifetime. Okay? In every area of my life. But there was a period of my life where I was dealing with a lot of grief. I had just lost my dad, and I had also had some other things happen in a very short period of time that I had not healed from. And I feel like to make up for all the pain that I had been through in that short period of time, God and the divine was just pouring blessings and manifestations over me. And because I had not done the healing work, I eventually self-sabotaged a lot of my blessings and manifestations at that time. And also, I lost some of them because I was being spiritually attacked. So, and this was the beginning of my journey. So not only had I not done the healing work, to release the blockages and self-sabotage, but I also was at the beginning of my journey and I didn't know how to properly protect myself. And it caused me to lose a lot. So I'm not saying that you can't manifest until you heal, or you shouldn't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying also make the conscious effort to do your inner work and do your healing so that you can hold your blessings, so that they do not slip through your fingers. Okay? And if you need help with this, I have 2 offerings for y'all. You can purchase a 90-minute spiritual healing session with me, where we kind of get into your trauma and, the inner work that you need help with, blockages, releasing negativity, releasing ancestral trauma, healing the wound, all that kind of stuff. Okay, and I have a specific framework and process that I use for these sessions that I've used on myself literally since I was 12 years old. Okay, I'm a Capricorn moon. I'm an old soul. Dare I say ancient. And I was doing inner work at 12. I was doing a little bit of healing at 12. Okay, but I have it down to a science, and it's also something that I give to my clients, and I know that it works. And the goal is to identify the pain point, how it's manifesting in your life, how to work through it and release it, But you can go to sirensnectar.com/booking for those 90-minute sessions, or if you need deeper, more supportive, involved, intimate work, I do offer a one-on-one 8-week healing container, and you can find more info about that at sirensnectar.com/healing. But this is essential, okay? I know what it's like to be a master manifester, but the thing comes in and you can't hold it. Okay? And take this from me. If you don't do the inner work and you still have a lot of pain and trauma, it's going to bleed into your life and sabotage your blessings, and your manifestations. It's just human nature. Okay? Number 8 is doing love spells out of desperation, and also doing things like obsession work. Anytime that I see a witch doing obsession work, whether it's for herself or himself or a client or someone else, I want to pull my hair out. Because that tells me you'll have never had someone obsessed with you. Because if you had, you would not want that experience again. It's not fun. At all. Best case scenario, he's obsessed with you in a passionate way. Like, he wants to be around you all the time. He won't leave you alone. He always wants to be up under you. You know, always wants to talk to you, whatever. Worst case scenario, he's obsessed with wanting to fucking hurt you. For whatever reason. It's just not a good idea. And doing love spells out of desperation, if your spirits really love you and care about you, it's not going to manifest. They will block it. Ask me how I know. Yep. Those very spirits that you're calling on to help you in that love spell will block it. Because they don't want you to be with that person. And think about it. Especially if you're calling on, like, your ancestors or your spiritual court or something for that love spell. There's one of you and 10 or 15 at least of them blocking that work. Okay? Like, and if you really pester them and keep doing that same love spell on that same person that's not right for you, you might just get lucky and they'll back the fuck up and allow the work to go through, and you're going to find out exactly why they did not want you to be with that person in the first place. I can't tell y'all. And I have to give props to my spirits for this, because I'm very lucky. I've been told by, like, when I used to go to different mediums and stuff, every single one would tell me, you have amazing spirits. Like, you are so lucky. Your spirits love you bad. And they do. But they have had to protect me from so many men that I was interested in over the years. And they've been right every time. And when I went against it, I found out why they were trying to protect me in the first place. Okay? Number 9. And this one might be controversial, but I really don't give a fuck. Blood offerings. I am talking about both animal sacrifice and also menstrual blood. Or even cutting yourself open. Giving yourself a deliberate paper cut and offering it to a spirit. I don't support the shit. And I have to give my usual annoying disclaimer that I give when it comes to animal sacrifice. I'm well aware that it is part of many practices, such as ATRs, like voodoo, palo, santeria. I am a high priestess in Palo Mayombe. I've been a yaya for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years coming up in a few months. And I used to do animal sacrifice. Okay. I don't agree with it. I don't. On an energetic level, I just don't agree with shedding blood to manifest blessings or protection or to get rid of problems. That's just low vibrational and icky to me. Like, your life was built on fucking innocent beings being killed and suffering. Ew. No thank you. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to any practice. That's just how I feel. And I'm allowed to feel that way. And I'm going to keep relaying that message. Okay? You don't have to agree with me. It's just my opinion. In my opinion, in my experience, it does attract lower level spirits, because to earthbound and low level spirits, blood sacrifices are like crack. Ecstasy, dare I say. I'm trying to not piss off the YouTube gods with these names of substances, but y'all get my point. Okay. And it's gonna turn into a crackhead. It's gonna keep wanting sacrifices and you're just gonna have to keep giving it more for it to even think about working for you. And it just invites very nasty low-level energies. Same thing with menstrual blood. It's not that I think menstrual blood is gross. I'm very aware of the spiritual power that it possesses. And there are certain workings that you can do with your menstrual blood for a specific purpose and in a specific way that will benefit you without being fed to a fucking spirit. Because there is a difference. There is a difference between putting your blood into a working for the sake of tying that work to you, linking it to your DNA and your being, etc. That's different than putting it on a fucking plate and giving it to Lilith or Hecate and saying, here's some food. I'm sorry, I just fucking don't agree with it. It attracts very low level energies. It's not that period blood is disgusting or immoral or gross. It's nothing against the divine feminine. It's just the essence of blood, and that there are so many fucking low level bloodthirsty spirits wandering the earth, that's what they love, and that's what they go to, okay? It's just reality. Number 10, not listening to your guides. And every spiritual person is guilty of this to a certain extent. It's just part of being human. I've done it. And I know the cost that it can cause you. Especially when your spirits are making extreme amounts of effort trying to get a certain message across repeatedly. One time back in 2021, I had just gotten involved with a certain person that I later realized was very dark, very evil, malicious, a very, very dark, nasty, narcissistic, psychopathic, violent, abusive practitioner that my spirits did not want me involved with in any capacity from the jump. My dad went to a previous elder of mine that I was no longer really in contact with. She never did anything to hurt me or anything. We had a disagreement and stopped talking to each other. That was it, right? I knew and still know she's a good person. Anyway, we hadn't talked in a few months. And my dad was so pissed off and concerned that he went to her to give me the message that I needed to leave this person alone. In a dream. And he was very, very pissed off, very, not afraid, like, in a powerless way. He was afraid for my happiness and my well-being. Understandably so, because he saw what was in store for me if I didn't listen, which is exactly what happened. And because I didn't listen to that guidance, because she texted me that morning after her dream and basically said something along the lines of, look, I don't know what kind of dark shit you're involved in and what kind of dark person you've recently let into your life, but your dad is fucking pissed and came to me in a dream and is telling me that it needs to stop. And that person, the dark, abusive person that she was referring to, was doing so much magic on me. Love bindings, amades, domination work, trying to tie me to him, etc. Siphoning, that I was blind. Like, I was blind. I was so energetically manipulated and so new to my path that I didn't listen. And because of that, being involved with that person, I lost so fucking much, you guys. So many blessings, so much money, tens of thousands of fucking dollars. I had $46,000 in my bank account when I met this person. And by the time that I left him, a little under a year later, I had nothing. In fact, I was in the negative. I couldn't even pay my rent. And I had my car repossessed. All because I did not fucking listen to my guides when they were very clear. Okay? And the root of all of this is not having proper guidance. Okay? If you have made these mistakes, it's okay. Just fix them. Now that you know better, do better. But if you need a firm spiritual foundation and you need proper guidance, check out my mentorship. You can go to sirensnectar.com/mentorship and look at the description. It literally gives you a firm, stable, systematic spiritual foundation. And it's tarot and witchcraft combined. Because I firmly believe in doing divination before spell work. Okay? Just to double check. Just to see what spirit says is the right approach. Okay? And we talk about cleansing, protection work. I teach you how to set up a boveda, an ancestor altar. How to do road opening work, money magic, love spells, beauty rituals, glamour magic, all the above in 12 weeks. Okay? But it can save you. Like, I wish that I could go back to when I first started and find someone that was offering what I'm offering you guys and spend the money and avoid a lot of mistakes. Okay. Alright. If you have any questions, just comment down below. And if you would like to explore my offerings or book a session with me, just go to sirensnectar.com. Okay? I love y'all. Thank you.